Welcome to the Millennial Monologues.
Welcome to the Millennial Monologues podcast, where we talk about anything and everything relating to the millennial lifestyle. We are your hostesses with the mostesses. My name is Alyssa.
And my name is Lexi. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you. So today, what are we talking about?
Today, we're going to be talking about subliminal messaging in our old childhood movies and TV shows.
Yes.
We're talking about Disney. We're talking about Nickelodeon. We're talking about
Pixar.
We're talking about
Cartoon Network. All of them.
Movies.
Right. All of those.
I can't even remember
we're gonna be talking about those random like flashes of things that, you know, as kids maybe our eyes didn't catch. Some hidden messages maybe in the background or out of focus on some of these movies and TV shows that we as millennials are all too familiar with.
So we start noticing these things as we get older, but then as we're children, maybe sometimes we don't always see them.
I didn't see any of them, really.
Yeah, when I was little, I didn't see a lot of these, and I think it's because we had such innocent minds. But then as you get older, you start noticing these things, and then I can understand when my parents didn't want me watching certain shows because they would have these explicit content. But then as a kid, you don't even know that it's bad, so it's like
right over your head.
Right over your head.
That is right. So last week, Lexi teased that there was something wrong with the Lion King cover. So let's take a look at that picture.
I did tease that. For all you listeners, I'm sorry you won't be able to see this, but on the left, we see a beautiful lion with a mane and whatnot of the sorts. And then on the right, we see a lovely picture of a booty.
A big ghetto booty.
And some side boob.
Side boob.
And we just realized.
Wait a minute. Who took that picture of me?
Shut up. You're not. So on the right, there's this picture clearly of a booty with some side boob with the lion's eye looking right up at her. And you can see the hair. You can see her legs. It is a full-fledged on body of a female human woman.
I'm never going to be able to look at that Lion King cover the same now.
Hey, no, you can't.
Thanks a lot.
When I first saw that and I looked back at the original image, I can't see a snout. There is no lion. That is a woman with a thong.
With a creepy eye.
Yeah.
You know what? That eye could be a human too. We don't know.
No.
Just saying. Could be.
Childhood ruined. Hashtag childhood ruined.
That's bad. Yeah, that is bad.
Yeah.
Well, and that's not even the only thing in the Lion King that we were able to find on the internet. There's also a hidden message.
We scoured the internet for these.
We did.
I mean,
it really wasn't that hard to find them, though, because there's lots of memes about these types of things now that we're older and we're able to catch them. But take a look at this now. What's going on here, Lex?
So when Simba falls gracefully down into the meadow of flowers,
dandelions.
He falls in these dandelions. Get it? Lion's hat? That's funny. Anyway, he falls down, and as a child, you're thinking how beautiful it is. They go up into the stars. But if you go frame by frame, you'll see that it makes out the word
sex.
Or SFX is what Disney claims.
Right. So obviously
Jess,
Disney's been called out about this before because this isn't the only movie that this word has, popped up in, which we'll get to eventually. But either way, Disney has come back and said, actually, that says SFX for special effects. Okay, first of all,
I see that little tail. I see that the bottom of that E clearly.
But to me, it's like it's animation. Like, of course, there's special effects. You don't need to tell us that there's special effects in the movie. We can see them the whole time.
I think it's like a cameo. Like the special effects team is giving a shout out to themselves.
Like shout out to me,
right.
iRock.
Shout out to us, SFX. But no,
like that's an E. I'm sorry.
They are trying to brainwash our children into thinking about sex.
The bottom of that E is more like out there than the bottom of the S.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It's more, you know what I mean? Like I can see it more. I can see the whole word, obviously, but there's no way that's an F. I'm sorry. There's no way.
That is a subliminal message for sure.
So these are just obviously some examples, but we've got some more, to go through. But this stuff dates all the way back to,
this
way
goes
back
to
Disney.
BC, and we have some. No, I'm just kidding.
We've got some hieroglyphics. No,
you won't believe what Moses said.
I can't stand her. Can I get a new host? I'm sorry. Okay. But this goes all the way back, and really back then it was actually more prominent and it was more out there. Like they weren't even really trying to hide it back in the day. I feel like they get more and more clever like as time goes on. But this even dates back to the Mickey Mouse days. We've got one image for the Mickey Mouse situation here. There you go.
All I see on the left is a beautiful classic couple, Mickey and Minnie Mouse. How beautiful.
What do you see on the right?
And then on the right, my innocence has been tainted by Satan himself. Because that is not Minnie's body, I will tell you that.
If it is, too bad for her. So, what really gets me is the top, the top of that. There's no, and the hand. There's just no getting around the fact that this is what we're all thinking it is.
So disturbed.
That's rough. That hand, okay, when I first saw the close-up, I thought that the button on Mickey's shorts was like the thumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's
so it looks
full
like
on
he's
gripping.
Like, firmly grasp it.
Firmly grasping.
Mickey's a perv.
That is terrible. I like to think, though, that the characters aren't naughty. It's just the animators.
It's just the animators. Don't think that Mickey is ruined for you. It's the guy who drew
They're
Mickey.
ruined. It's all ruined. It's all ruined.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And most of these, really are just all sexual, too. It's but I don't know if, that, affected us in any way. But I'm just saying, I didn't catch any of these.
So then you think, what is the point? Why? What is the need to do it? Because, as children, we will get to that. But as children, whenever you see stuff like that, you don't process it or register. But we're so PC these days. We're so we have these social justice warriors that will crack down on anyone that says anything remotely offensive in a childhood show. So back then they could get away with so much stuff.
Oh yeah, it gets worse and worse as time goes on. But they try to hide it more and more as time goes on too. But either way, it's still happening. Yeah. Then there's, shows whenever we were younger that we weren't even allowed to watch. Yeah. Right? Is there a show that you weren't allowed to watch when you were younger? There was for me.
I couldn't watch That's So Raven. Well, I watched it, but my parents didn't like me watching it because there was, references to seeing in the future and witchcraft. And things like that. And I couldn't watch Harry Potter because
Harry
the
Potter
witchcraft.
is a common one. Yeah,
and
that's a common one.
Totally understandable. But nothing of animated cartoons of sorts that I wasn't really allowed to watch.
I wasn't allowed to watch Ed, Edd n Eddy. And we have a picture for this one too. But in this, that's just a small glimpse. But if you just look at that, obviously there's something fishy going on here.
And his eyes make it even worse. The guy on the left, he looks
like he's curious, and the guy on the right looks disturbed. He's
like something just got grabbed.
Yeah, he looks like he's been groped. He's been groped.
The funny thing is that is such a quick freeze frame from the show. Yeah. So, but when we see this now, it looks like it's something so bad, but in the show, it probably happened so quick you don't recognize it.
Oh yeah, but in Ed, Edd n Eddy, there's 15 quick references or quick gropes
in one episode.
Yeah. This was the one show I wasn't allowed to watch as a kid. And I was able to watch SpongeBob. That's a really common one that kids aren't allowed to watch. Harry Potter, it's like you said, was a really common one, but I was allowed to watch all that. It was just Ed, Edd n Eddy. And
that's so random because there's so many bad, not bad, but so many kind of raunchy Nickelodeon shows.
Yeah, there are. That's
those,
true.
What is it, Nick at Night? Well, that was for the older people.
Yeah, but that was for older kids anyway. But
Cartoon
Jimmy
Network
Neutron
was at night too.
Jimmy Neutron was bad. Like, that one was bad. And I love that show. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love Jimmy Neutron. It was so funny. It was so good.
Who
it
was the big fat kid, the Bolby kid? Or
Bolby, and then the guy who liked to touch llamas, Carl.
What song did he sing? He sang like this
slap, 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 clap, clap, clap.
slap, slap, slap.
Yeah. Well, that show was bad because the parents would always have, like, sexual references. Like, they'd come down the stairs like, oh, yeah, that was some, you know, hot lovin' you gave me or some crap. And then Jimmy would walk by and be like, oh, hey, you know, and, like, push the wife away. Like, what's up? Like,
they would be so
But for him
sly.
being so genius, why would he not catch on to that? Or maybe he didn't.
He's book smart. He's not like that kind of smart.
Street smart.
I hear you. He doesn't get subliminal messages because he's still a child.
You're right.
But he can calculate the scientific method on his brain.
Right. He can, you know, recite the whole pi number without a problem.
But they would have more subliminal stuff, like the sock on the door or like the hat
on the parents' bedroom, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. There was lots in Jimmy Neutron and in the Fairly Odd Parents.
Got a blast!
Oh, no. Yeah. What if that... Oh, no. See, you're ruining my childhood. Even more so than it's already been ruined. Got a blast. Oh, no.
Rugrats. I recently looked up the grandpa on Rugrats. There was an episode where he had, like, movies picked out, and the babies were going to, like... They would go through these adventures where they would, like, watch a movie and then pretend that they were the actors.
Right.
And when he was introducing the movies, he showed one DVD, and he was like, "Oh, but this one's for Grandpa for later." And like the front had like 3 X's on it, or like it was like it called something like
X-rated and
or like Hot Mamas or something.
Hot Mamas.
But he'd be like, "Well, this is for." He was like, "You babies can't watch this. This is for Grandpa for later."
See, I'm telling you, like they're everywhere,
and it's like, why put that in the kids show?
Okay, so
for the parents,
there's another one from the Fairly Odd Parents. Okay, so you know how Jimmy or Timmy's dad has like this huge hatred against Dinkelberg, right?
Yeah.
Dinkelberg. Okay. Dinkelberg. So basically the whole like theory behind that is that the wife had an affair with Dinkelberg. Yeah. So that's like the whole theory behind it. And so apparently, which now I'm just now thinking about, I wish we had a picture, but apparently there is some sort of reference in one of the episodes of the mom having an affair with the next door neighbor. Something about like the next door neighbor, you know, would find that amusing, wouldn't he, or some crap like that.
That show is all about affairs because even with the fairies, when they had the baby came out purple. And that one Mexican, like Latino guy that was always like that. Yes.
I never realized that.
Yeah. Yeah, so their baby.
It's all making sense.
Oh my God.
We are like getting so hyped over cartoon.
No, this is serious, okay? Because this is my entire childhood, and I loved the Fairly Odd Parents. I used to pretend that my dogs were fairies. I'm sad.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's not like my life was miserable or anything, but it was still fun to pretend that I could get whatever I wanted whenever I wanted it.
That's true.
That was a good show. See, it's all the... Oh, God.
Yeah, so apparently Cosmo Wana's baby is actually that one guy that was like... Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why. Like I always pictured him like dancing.
What was his name?
Like Francisco or something.
No, it was like Velissimo. What was it?
Oh yeah,
right, something like that. Everyone knows who we're talking about. The big macho fairy. So it's not just TV show. Well, yeah, okay. So we have another movie, Tangled. So Tangled is a really good movie. That's like one of my favorite Disney movies. And
it is good.
There's that lovely word again. Just.
Disney loves to tell our children, you know, sex sells. It really does.
It actually really does, though.
And
I don't know about sells to children.
I don't think it has to do with children. I'm just now kind of realizing this. Magazines like Cosmo, Vogue, they put sex on their cover, like 5 sex tips, like all in bold, just so your eyes gravitate towards it. And I think that's what they do.
This one's like hidden, though. Like, I wouldn't have seen that. I mean, I've seen the cover of this movie like so many times.
It's a subliminal message, though. So, like, you don't know you're seeing it, but for some reason your brain is gravitated toward this and you don't know.
We should describe what the definition of subliminal means. So the word subliminal means below the threshold of the conscious mind. So it's never something that's immediately presented to us like, here you go, for us to be able to even catch on to it in the first place. Like, even these messages are hidden from adults too. It's just that our adult minds are more likely to catch it.
It's something that your like inner brain catches before you do.
Right, exactly. Like it's the subconscious. So that's what the word subliminal means. But I would have never seen that. It's definitely taken some creative people to like figure all these out. I mean, but some of them are obvious. But that one to me in the Tangled thing,
that was so obvious.
That was
to
hard.
Me.
Really?
No, that was so obvious.
Oh, not me.
Not me either.
Maybe you didn't see it.
Yeah, thank you, Jess. I didn't see that. I did not see that.
I don't even have a dirty mind. Like I don't even look for it. But like if I'll see a cover like that, or if I'll see something like, I'll just kind of put 2 and 2 together, put 3, 4, and then I'm like, oh, that's weird. That looks like it says that. But then I don't want to say anything because people are like, oh, that's all in your head.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
You're nasty.
You're nasty.
Church. You're in Texas. We don't talk about that. Texas.
Anyways, there's another movie cover that we have. The Little Mermaid. Oh no, there it is. There it is.
She's freaking out.
So, The Little Mermaid.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it?
Oh no! Jess has brought us the actual VHS of this movie. So it's not like these things are like edited on there.
It's not photoshopped. We have living proof.
That is actual proof that there is that camouflaged
dildo.
wiener.
That's the first one I've ever seen, y'all, in my entire life.
Now.
Yeah, isn't that sad that the first,
Wait, like right now or like when you were young?
That was little.
She has children.
I have 3 kids.
You can still have kids and never see them. I'm just kidding.
Can you? Okay, anyway. So, yeah, I mean, this one to me, like, I think maybe this could have been not as intentional as the rest, but I've gotten some pretty harsh backlash whenever I say that.
Really? From me or who?
Just from everybody. Like, they're just like, are you kidding me? That's so obvious. Is it?
Because, yeah, I think after you know it's there, you can't not see
you
that.
can't
look away.
unsee.
And none of the other buildings, you know, on the whole are shaped like that. So that's true. Yeah.
That's a good counter argument because if the whole building looked like that, then yeah, that would make sense. Then you'd be like, oh, you have a dirty mind. But because it's that one
pillar,
they knew they were doing something when they made one thing. Because they made that one and they're like, oh, that looks too much. Look, let's keep it.
Yeah.
We can't do all of the pillars like that.
That's true.
But
and
let's
the thing
keep
is,
it.
like they have to draw these things. Like they are hand drawing these things, right? So
they get bored and they want to draw some pee-pees.
I'm just like, they have to draw it, so it can't be a mistake because they have to draw it.
Of course not.
They
know
back then, like the older movies,
what they're doing.
Oh yeah, especially the older movies, like you have to actually draw it. Like some of the new ones, like they'll reuse like some of the animation, like behind like people dancing in the background, stuff like that. You can tell that they like reuse it. Like they'll take the ballroom from Cinderella and use the same ballroom in Beauty and the Beast, like the same motions of the dancers and stuff. But when you're having to like freehand and draw these things for like a cover, I mean, come on.
And they have so many people looked at that cover. Like
and just
many
didn't even see it.
Or no, they did.
First.
And they all have dirty minds. And
you mean the creators?
Yes,
yeah.
the creators.
Yeah, they all had to approve it.
They're all huddled in their circle.
And that's not like that wasn't the first draft either. That was not the first draft. Like that was like
how many do you think they drew?
Sometimes. How many wieners did they draw?
They drew to get to that one.
Maybe. What if they had drawn a much more obvious one, like the bigger pillar to the left? What if that was originally one, and then they were like, "Oh, come on, bro, that's too obvious.
We need to put in more subliminal messages."
It is a little lopsided. Yeah, a little lopsided there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That was a rough one. That was a rough one. I'm glad that we have the actual live copy though, so that everyone knows that
it's not photoshopped.
These things aren't photoshopped. Like these things actually happened.
Yeah.
But it's movies now, movies then, and again, it was a lot more common back then, and a lot more. They didn't even try to hide it. Like there's one of Donald Duck, like straight up poking. Just
that one is
around.
Pure Satan.
So in the episode,
it looks so fake. Like it's so bad. Like that is not in a kid's show.
It is though. But in the episode there was like a mouse or something like under the cover, and he was trying to like.
She's crunching.
Even that's weird.
But then
you know what it really is.
The placement, and not only that, his eye.
No, it's definitely there on purpose. It's definitely there on purpose. I'm saying, like in the actual episode, though, it's not like he was playing with his junk. Like there was something under there. But I mean, come on, that is rough. They were so obvious back then. Like they didn't care at all.
They would never ever do something like that.
Donald Duck was my favorite.
Or would they?
Or Donald
is he
Duck
still your favorite?
Was my favorite.
Right? Is he still your favorite now that you're?
Oh
God. That one was a rough one. And then so back then on like those earlier ones, I think that maybe the cartoons though back then were made for adults and kids because that was like when animation was first starting to become kind of popular, like colored animation.
Yeah.
So I feel like because they were for adults and kids, they were allowed to be a little bit more obvious about it, you know? And there was a lot of like political propaganda and race and racism propaganda, stuff like that in some of these shows. I mean, then we have the one from the 101 Dalmatians. This one is so obvious. Yeah. And it's all political propaganda.
Right.
All World War II references.
That is...
What do we have there, Lex?
Alyssa, here we have a swastika.
10 points for you. That's exactly what that is.
On a beautiful Dalmatian. I mean, the dog.
This is the most obvious one to me. Like the rest of
them...
That
is not a mistake.
No, that's definitely not a mistake. I mean, they literally had to draw on all the spots for all these dogs. And that one, all the rest are like scattered and like realistic looking almost, and that is just wow. That is so obvious.
You would think that maybe they just got bored and they were doing it to be funny to see if people would notice.
No, because
just to give them the benefit of the doubt.
There's swastikas in lots of our old TV shows and movies, like lots of them. I'm sad that we only have this one reference, but in reality, subliminal messaging isn't just sexual things. It's not just, inappropriate body parts or like sexual references. It's all kinds of stuff, especially back then, lots of political propaganda and lots
So do you think that like the media is trying to like get in our children they do you think
they
do you think they're trying to like get into our children's minds or get into our minds and like corrupt us?
No.
Is this an Illuminati thing?
Oh God. I don't think so. I actually like to think that maybe they do it so that these movies are still entertaining for adults too, and it's not just like, hold my hand and play hopscotch, because no one wants to watch kids' movies with their kids unless it's somewhat entertaining for them too, you know? Like the movie Cars. So I can't remember if it's Cars 1, 2, or 3. Who cares? In one of the movies, these two, cars are like driving up to Lightning McQueen, and they're trying to like get his attention. These two female cars. And they like flash their lights at him, and then they get escorted out by security
for flashing their lights.
For flashing their lights, right? So in reality, they were flashing Lightning McQueen like a celebrity, but we wouldn't have caught that as kids. But as an adult, that's so obvious. So to me, it's like they put that in there on purpose, so it's entertaining for the adults. Yeah, I think that's my opinion.
Catch that as an adult.
But then that's just my opinion. I don't
that's
know.
What gets me thinking. Like even adults don't catch this stuff.
I caught that one.
Even we don't.
I caught that.
I get it now because I know what thing you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So like the hidden pictures, I never caught. I never caught those, but like those really obvious ones. Yeah, that to me, I could easily catch that, like easily.
Yeah. There have been like a few movies that I've seen recently, like that were animated, and I've noticed some things, but I just don't even think to like write it down or anything.
I swear, like they do it so that it's entertaining for us too, though. That's what I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that they're actually trying to get into our mind. In reality, all kids grow up, and all of them are going to be exposed to that kind of stuff at some point.
Right.
So. But they do get a lot of backlash from parents, for some of this stuff.
I think if you guys watching, if you know of any subliminal messages that you've seen.
That we're not mentioning.
Right, that we're not mentioning, or maybe something that like we haven't caught yet, you guys should write in the comments below.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Tell us some, and we will definitely look those up because that sounds really interesting to figure out some more. I even saw, I want to say it was like Donald Duck or something from a while back, but he was at like an eye examiner place, and at the top, where like it's like the E chart. Yeah. It said like look up it said ask about the Illuminati.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that one too. Like so there it's all kinds of stuff. So it's not just sexual.
Why are they writing about the Illuminati?
I don't know.
Is the Illuminati in like
political propaganda? Like they may just want to do it because
don't come after me, Illuminati! Don't come after! Don't kill me, man! If I die soon, it's the Illuminati because I talked about them on the podcast.
Well, I think that there's lots of subliminal messaging in all of our kids' TV shows, all of our movies, but something that Pixar is really known for is their subliminal messaging that like foreshadow like their upcoming movies. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. They'll put like characters that haven't come out yet and older movies.
Yes, because it takes years to make a movie. You know, I mean, first of all, you have to think of an idea, right? Then you have to like, you know, develop a team. Then you have to get some animators, like some animators together, get some animation going, you know, and figure stuff out. I mean, it takes years for them to even make these movies. Like, you know, like The Incredibles 2, for example.
14
Still
years.
waiting on that one. But like we got a preview like 2 years ago and it said coming like 2019. You know what I mean? So they know about it years in advance. So it's real easy for them to put
they start animating so further. So like even like in Monsters Inc. they had the plush doll of like one of the cars from Cars
and of Nemo. Okay, so yeah, here's this whole chart and they're all like correlated. So there's a shadow of Doug in Ratatouille, right? Like that dog, okay? Then there is Jessie from Toy Story and Monsters Inc. There's actually lots of toys in Monsters Inc. Like if
that
you
were
skip
characters
down,
that they made them toys in Monsters Inc.
Yeah, exactly. Like Nemo, for example, if you skip down, but let's just keep going. So Lotso and Up, like that doll just like sitting by the bed. I actually noticed that one.
I didn't.
I actually did. I noticed that one. I didn't notice the Doug or the Jessie, though, but I did notice Lotso. Mike from Monsters, Inc., during the credits of Finding Nemo, swims across the screen. And just for no reason. Like, why is he there, you know? So then Boo, obviously, holding the thing of Nemo, like, up to Kitty or Sully, whatever his name is. And then
Kitty.
This kid in Finding Nemo, everyone knows who that kid is. He's the one who's like horrified in the dentist lobby. Remember? He's like flipping out because there's like a bird in there and the kid is screaming. Yeah. So the kid in the lobby is reading a magazine, like, or a comic book of some sorts about Mr. Incredible. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, they like
he's
like
on
all
there
together. Like it's all one.
So they're all tied.
World.
And then there's Buzz Lightyear also in Finding Nemo, just like laying on the floor. And then there's Doc from Cars in The Incredibles. I mean, so they all just correlate. And then Boo grows up and is playing at that daycare, you know, in Toy Story 3. So, I mean, they're all correlated. They're all synced. And that, to me, that's also
I think that
subliminal.
one's reaching. I don't think that's Boo.
That's definitely Boo. That is
No.
Boo. Same hair color, same eyes. That's her. Come on.
No,
Look at her.
they just got lazy with animating.
No, that's Boo, man. I'm telling you.
I think they're all like cameos. Like they want to put everything together and make you be like, oh, that's from that movie. So that it's like all a cameo together.
Well, and then do you remember Arthur?
Yeah,
like the books. We talked about me stealing that toy last week. So, in the books of Arthur, the author of Arthur, oh God, will write his kids' names in every book.
Oh,
and
that's
they're like
cool.
hidden like in like the floor tiles or something. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, I thought you were saying that their character names would be the kids.
No. Like the names of his kids are like hidden, like subliminal messaged into the books. But it's not really. It's not. There's no like you know, malicious
like the
intent
school
behind
would
it.
be like Sandy's school for
right,
like
exactly,
blah, blah, blah,
right,
and his
or it'd be
daughter
like the
Sandy.
tiles would be like laid out weird, and like you'd see a name, or like in the curtains they'd be like mushed together at the top.
That's more like
of a
fun,
window.
like subliminal messaging.
But that's still a type of subliminal messaging because I feel like there's like a common misconception that it's all sexual or it's all evil, it's all bad. But in reality, Pixar, you know, they foreshadow future movies. Like I think that like Big Hero 6 and Wreck-It Ralph were somehow correlated. I can't remember which one was in which or which came out first, but either way, like they were, you know, correlated somehow too. So I mean that's still a type of subliminal messaging. It's just more fun and upbeat instead of like all the weird crap that these other guys are doing.
Yeah.
But there's, you know, a whole Pixar theory that all of the Pixar like stories that happen are all in the same like universe and like they all like all the families know each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard about that, but I don't know like all of the exact information because I know the story about how Tarzan and Elsa and Anna are like brother and sister somehow.
Yeah. So we have a picture of this one too. So first of all, in the movie in Frozen, okay, you see how Rapunzel and what's the guy's name? I know his name is Eugene, but what's his actual name? Or his actual name is Eugene. You know what I'm talking about? Anyways, that's clearly Rapunzel and her, you know, husband.
And the good-looking guy, the charming guy.
Yeah. So they're walking into the castle, right? Where Elsa and Anna are. Yeah, in Frozen. In Arendelle. Okay. So, see on the right, the map where it says like Norway, Denmark, and Germany, right? So
I see it.
There's this whole theory that Tarzan's parents were
Anna and
Elsa's parents. So whenever they left to go on that boat ride, wherever they were going, they were pregnant, and that she gave birth on the ship to Tarzan, and that's why Tarzan's a baby, okay? Stay with me. So they crash, the boat sinks, they end up on the island. Obviously, the parents die, and Tarzan just stays there, right? So
Tarzan becomes the Tarzan guy.
Right, but the theory is that Tarzan is Elsa and Anna's younger brother because the mom was pregnant when they left.
Yeah.
To go.
Wait, was she pregnant? Does it say in the movie she was pregnant?
It doesn't say in the movie that she was pregnant, but it doesn't say she wasn't pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And also, it's possible. It's possible, okay? Then you see a picture of Ariel because the ship that Ariel swims up to in the movie is the shipwreck from Tarzan's parents and Anna and Elson's parents shipwrecked. Yeah. And the reason why this is all mapped out is because they're
all so close to each other.
Well, yeah, exactly. So in Germany is where Arendelle is, apparently. And the whole theory behind this is because of the style of clothes. So if you notice that, like, Anna's
someone
clothing,
did their research.
Oh, yeah. So Anna's clothing is very just German style, and they're all light hair, light skin. Yeah, they just look like Germans. They just do. You got the nose, you got the mustache, you got the pale skin, blonde hair, and then
Tarzan looks German too. He's white.
Yeah. So they were headed to Norway for something, and in Denmark, that is where Eric's castle is because he's like the Prince of Denmark. So basically, the shipwreck is somewhere around there, a random island in the North Sea. Right there is where Tarzan ends up, and then the parents die, but they were headed to Norway. But that's like the general sea area where Ariel would be, where she came across the ship. Boom!
My mind is blown.
Yeah. So that's the whole theory about that, and that's foreshadowing, that's conspiracy theories, that's subliminal messaging, all tied in one. But either way, Pixar and Disney are kind of known for foreshadowing future movies in their movies. So it would make sense. I believe it. I might be crazy, but I believe it.
What if they're not this creative and like someone comes out and says this and they're like, yeah.
Sure, that sounds like what we're talking about.
You're right.
But if you think about it, Disney, they're geniuses. They just are. I mean, if you think about like all the themes and all of the they actually do their research. Like I read somewhere that to create Finding Nemo, which I know this is Pixar, but either way, they're all geniuses. Right. Finding Nemo, like some of the writers like went to like school to study
or like the
marine
coral
biology.
Reefs. Yeah.
Like they literally went and studied like coral reefs and marine biology and ocean animals and all that kind of stuff just to
so they could
movie.
Create it exact
and have it be as realistic as possible, So obviously it's not realistic, but at the same time, it's as realistic as it can be. Like they do have the currents; those jellyfish do, go in groups.
It took them 2 years to record real whale sounds. No, I'm just kidding. They didn't do that.
Yeah, Ellen and her, whale speaking, right? So, but either way, I mean, it's as realistic as it can be because they do all that research into just one movie, and that's another reason why it takes so long for them to even create these movies. So to me, they're geniuses. They could easily think of that themselves. I mean, maybe they. But then
why do they keep it such a big secret though? Like, why don't they like tie it together and then let us all know? Like, hey, we did this.
Because that's the fun of it. Like, that's the fun of it. They're like, oh, like maybe they'll figure it out, and if we don't, then maybe they do leak it themselves and say like, hey, we're actually even smarter than you think we are. By the way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because that's so genius, and we're all so dumb. We can't even pick up on the obvious penis in the Little Mermaid thing. How are we supposed to figure out that Tarzan and Elsa and Anna are all related? Yeah. By the way, Frozen and Tarzan are my 2 favorite movies, so it's also why I'm really passionate about it.
Oh, my God.
Those are my 2 faves.
And they're siblings, so it all makes sense.
I love them. What a cute family.
But then also, I just kind of realized something. Tarzan's in Australia because the girl has the Australian accent.
No, she's from London and she had traveled there. No.
Oh, but I always thought they had an Australian accent.
No, it's a London accent because she even says like, "Come to London with me," and he's like, "No, I can't. I have to stay here." Remember?
Oh,
Trust me.
For some reason, I remember it from then.
No, they're not in Australia. It's a random like untouched island. Like even in Phil Collins' song, it says. An island untouched by man, or something like that. It's like, wow, land untouched by man.
He does.
See?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like a random island in the middle of the ocean that no one like has ever been to.
Wow,
Which
maybe
is why,
they are this smart. I'm really
see.
I'm reaching. I'm really trying to play devil's advocate. Really trying to debunk this.
It's facts.
But it's hard because it all seems so... Facts. It all seems so real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all related. I'm telling you right now. So another obvious one to me was in Aladdin. And Sebastian pops up. So that one, I knew automatically, like, as a kid.
I cut onto that.
Oh, yeah. As a kid, I was like, oh, my God, Sebastian. And then he, like, flicks him off his finger. It's, like, really quick. Like, he just opens the book on a beach, and he's, like, in there. Like, it's really quick. But I caught on the second I saw that as a kid. That was one of the obvious ones to me.
It's cool because it makes you think that all the movies are tied in and, like, the same, like, world.
Same general area.
Yeah, it's, like, the same area.
It's definitely the same area, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that they do it on purpose. But also Disney, like, they're really, like, adamant about getting, like, every single type of culture, like, in all their movies. So it would make sense that they would be, like, in different countries too, you know. But that one was really obvious to me, and that's just again a random like upbeat, happy subliminal message, and not just sexual innuendos. Right.
Check.
Right. So that one was a fun one too. But either way, I mean, why do you think that they may do this?
I mean, I think I already kind of like said it before that I think the main reason they do it is just because they're bored and they think it's just funny to just trick people and to just like put in just sex for fun because it sells and it's in our mind, like that whole subconscious thing where we don't even know that we're reading it, but we're kind of more gravitated towards this movie and we don't know why. And I think that's kind of like the whole sex thing.
Right.
But it's just so fun to say it in that. Okay. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. But
you're offending me.
As soon as like I say stuff like that, then I think about people with like actual retainers and they're like, I'm never watching this girl again. She's making fun.
I can't stand you.
Like I'll do these voices and I'm like, oh, I just offended someone. But yeah.
Oh well.
With the sex things, totally. I think it has to do with that. But then when the other parts where the things kind of come together, I don't think there's any rhyme or reason. It's just because it's for fun and they can get away with it. They can do it. And it's like, hey, let's just put this in here, see if anyone notices. If they do, great. If they don't, wow, that was a waste of time.
See, but then if they do, they get a lot of backlash from some of the parents who catch on and they're just like, oh my God. So, I mean, I was reading a lot of comments whenever I was just looking for some examples for the purpose of this show. And there were so many like adults on there like, oh my God, like I'm never letting my kids watch any Disney movies. Like this is outrageous. Like, I mean, obviously that's overreacting, I think, because it's still a cartoon. It's still lighthearted. There's always good like moral messages behind each of the movies. But
I mean, Rocco's Modern Life being a sex operator.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. We posted a picture of that one on our Instagram, by the way.
Yeah.
Go follow us on Instagram.
So
yeah.
We posted it on our Instagram. So Rocco, he had a job as a sex phone operator. And it's not subliminal. It is there.
Yeah, it's
They're
obvious.
on the wall. It says like be courteous.
I'll pull it up.
Well, like I know it says be courteous on there, but it's like be seductive, be courteous, be flirty.
Yeah, it's Rocco, at his place of work, and it says one-on-one hotline, and hot is like capitalized, like one-on-one hotline, okay? And then on the other side, like in his cubicle, there's a picture. It says, remember, be hot, be naughty, be courteous.
Come on. He's a phone sex operator.
He's a phone sex operator.
And then I specifically remember from that episode him going, oh, baby, baby. Oh, baby, baby. Like, he was like... what's so funny is like the funny part about the show is he was bad at his job. Like he was bad on paper, he thought he was doing everything right.
He's like reading the script like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yes,
that's
baby,
great.
baby. Oh, yes, baby. Like, you guys,
baby, baby.
YouTube, Rocco's Modern Life, phone sex operator.
Is this it?
Yes, that's the one. So that's perfect. See?
Hotline.
And like above hotline, it says one-on-one, like one-on-one hotline.
And then, if I remember correctly, the big lobster lady or the fat, like, red lady, she was on the other line. She's like, Rocco? And he's like, oh, no.
Oh, yeah, and then he hangs up.
Yes,
yeah, he's like, oh, God, and hangs up.
And he's like, oh,
you don't want to talk to somebody you know. Yeah, it's awkward.
How would she know? Oh, baby, baby.
Oh, baby, baby.
That's Rocco. I've heard that before.
That is terrible.
Yeah,
terrible. I forgot about that one.
They would never even post stuff like that nowadays.
No, never.
If they did,
taken off the air in a
Man,
heartbeat.
every liberal parent would just like go after them.
They'd be having conniptions. But Rocko's Modern Life is actually coming back to TV. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, they're bringing it back.
I didn't know that. Is it going to be like as raunchy? Do you
I
think?
don't know. I guess we'll find out. We should do like a part 2.
Nickelodeon loved being raunchy. They were known for that.
They did love it.
And
but
Cartoon
honestly,
Network.
I loved Nickelodeon. I was much more of a Nickelodeon
But
kid
I never
than a
knew.
Cartoon
I
Network.
really never knew. And so
I didn't either.
When parents are like, I don't want my kid to be watching that, it's like, your kid doesn't know.
But
Like,
then,
no one knows.
Some of them were like in SpongeBob, they were more obvious, and I feel like that's why parents like didn't allow their kids to watch SpongeBob. Like there would be
I think
a lot
that's why
of
my dad
butts.
liked SpongeBob, because it was obvious.
So
like,
it was more funny.
So it was more
yeah.
funny.
But like there were like a lot of like butts in SpongeBob.
Oh, yeah.
Like whenever like his like
so many
pants
butts
would like unfold and he'd be like, "Oh God," you know. But that's not bad. It's a butt. Like who cares?
Everyone has a butt.
Everyone has a butt, and it was like all in like good fun. Like it was like playful, and it wasn't it wasn't sexual. It was just a butt. And whatever.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Even
but there's a lot of backlash online about it. Like I see both sides, but I feel like people kind of overreact because as kids, all that stuff goes right over our heads. I feel like it is for the parents, and the parents are like, taking it too far.
Was there a time like when you realized that it didn't go over your head and you were like, oh, this is kind of like adultish? Like,
yes,
this is not right.
I remember the time that it happened to me.
When was your innocence taken?
It was taken at age 14.
Okay, that's kind of
age 14. So, it was really late, but I was,
What show?
It was Jimmy Neutron, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah, we already talked about Jimmy Neutron, but it was Jimmy Neutron, and then I noticed it, and I said something to one of my friends, and I remember her, like my friend, her name was Brittany. She told me, "Oh yeah, it's not just that show; it's all the shows." And I was like, "What?" And then I started to catch on it, more and more. I actually guilty. I have a confession to make. I still watch SpongeBob.
Oh yeah, I do. Everyone
like
does.
even the new episodes. Like I love it.
Yeah, I
so,
do too.
I catch on, a lot more nowadays because obviously like I'm much older. But I first realized it, Jimmy Neutron, and I said something to a friend, and then she allowed me to.
Do you remember like the thing that you saw or they said?
I remember it was something that the parents said, but I don't remember the exact episode or the exact sentence. I just remember the parents said something, and I was like, was that a sex thing? Like, what was that? Yeah. And then I said something, oh my God, did you see Jimmy Neutron last night?
I think to me, like, I never knew, like, if it was like a sex thing. I just knew it was like an adult thing. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't be watching this. But for me, it was Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, okay.
And it was the transvestite drag queen villain. And he had the lobster claws and the heels.
I know who you're talking about. Oh, yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, should this be on a kid's show? Like, I remember very, like, clearly I was kind of getting older, and it hit me that it was
over my head.
Yeah, it was a little odd, and I
remember thinking that the voice was a little deep for a woman, but that's the only thing I ever thought about it was just like, wow, that's a deep voice for a woman. Anyways, I just kept watching.
I was confused. I was confused because to me, I thought it was a man, but it was dressed in women's clothing. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but that's like, I feel like that's an adult thing that I shouldn't be looking at. Like,
I guess,
as a kid,
yeah. I mean,
but I was so young when I was watching that, so I felt like it was like weird. And then Courage the Cowardly Dog started getting more kind of adult themed.
Okay, that show was scary.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
I loved that show.
If we want to talk about Satan, that's Courage the Cowardly Dog.
No, that show was scary.
Yeah.
Like, I would, like, watch it at nighttime, and I would get legitimately scared, like, in my room. Like, watching Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That show opened a portal to me loving horror. Because
maybe.
I love, like, thrillers and horror movies and things that will make
like paranormal movies, but I don't really like gory stuff. And that's kind of Courage the Cowardly Dog, because there were a lot of, like, phantoms and stuff, like, in that show.
I like the movies where they're more thriller, but like there's a mystery behind it. Like you want to figure out why the characters are doing the things they do.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, everything gets tied up and wrapped up into
like
a perfect bow. And you're like, oh, wow, like this guy died because of this. And in the beginning when he said this, it was because of this. And
that guy's not the villain, he's the hero.
That's why I like that. That's what's so great about horror movies, because they're scary, but then it all wraps up in the end and you're like,
that's true.
My God. But Courage the Cowardly Dog was like that.
Yeah, that was just a scary movie. Scary show.
There was a cat in that show, and they would play this deep music with like a bass, and it was like his theme music. Like, you know, like villains have their theme music, and you know they're coming because it's like,
like Jaws.
Like you start getting ready for it, and it's this animated cat. but I'm like terrified, and I'm like at home like, oh my God, there's this cat. Like, it scared me.
Yeah, that show, that was a scary show.
Yeah,
I didn't like that show.
Yeah.
No, I did like it, but I was scared.
Would I let my kids watch it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I let my kids watch all
I watch it with them. Yeah.
I would let my kids watch all of these shows, to be honest with you.
That's what's so funny.
They don't pick up on it. Like, we didn't pick up on it. And, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not like they see the word sex in The Lion King and they're like, oh, I'm going to go do that. Like, come on.
I feel like that's how most,
they don't even know what that is. Like,
really conservative parents think, though. That they're like, oh, they can't watch that because there's a butt on the Lion King book or on the Lion King cover, there's a butt. And he's going to start liking butts now?
Like, okay, but he has one. Like, I don't understand.
It's a female butt.
I can't handle it. Like, I don't know. But there's lots of backlash online. Some of these.
That's just so funny
parents.
to me. It's funny because, like,
to me too.
I think about things that, like, I would not be okay. Like, I look back and I'm like, wow, that was not okay. But I'd let my kids watch it.
I'm trying to think of a show.
Because, like, we all do it, you know?
Yeah.
Or we've all, like, it's kind of like a rite of passage in a way.
For sure. I'm trying to think of a show that, like, I would feel uncomfortable, like, having my kids watch. And I literally, besides, like,
Family
the obvious
Guy.
Family Guy, yeah. And,
but those
you know,
are made for adults.
Yeah, that's different. And they're not subliminal at all. They just throw it out there, yeah. But and there's, like, cussing and stuff, so that's different. But those are cartoons made for adults, so that's a little bit different. But I can't even think of a kids' TV show that I wouldn't let my kids watch. Can you?
I'm really trying to think. Like, I'm really trying to firmly grasp
it.
I'm really trying to think, and I don't. It's funny because we don't have kids. We're like we're not like planning to have kids.
I mean,
soon.
exactly. And who knows? Like, maybe whenever we do have kids, like, our opinion
will be
may
totally
change.
different. We'll be
But
like,
I'm gonna be using my kids
parents.
as an excuse to be able to go to the new Disney movies in theaters, because I still, like, every time there's new movies out, they'll be like an action, a horror, like a romantic comedy, and then like a cartoon, and I'll be like, let's go see the cartoon, and all my friends are like
Boss
why?
Baby. Boss Baby was good.
Okay, I actually didn't see that one, but to be honest with you, that one was like the one movie that I was just kind of like, I don't really care about seeing. But I haven't seen Coco yet, and I really want to see it.
Coco?
I heard it was so good. I haven't seen it. I'm really upset about it. But I mean, I love.
I want to see The
Pixar and
Incredibles,
Disney.
but I think everybody wants to see The Incredibles.
Oh yeah, that meme where it's like Adam Sandler in like a kindergarten class, and he's like sitting there, and it's like how I'm gonna be, in Incredibles 2. And then there was another one, like a tweet. Someone tweeted something like, PSA, do not bring your punk ass kids to Incredibles 2.
We waited
this
for
is
this.
For us. Yeah, and then
I waited half of my lifetime for The Incredibles 2.
Oh, me too.
Do not bring your crying kid into that theater.
Exactly. And then whenever Syndrome says like 15 years too late, like what's his name? Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
Duh. Anyways.
What is that guy that's so incredible in the Incredibles movie? Yeah. He's so incredible. He's a guy.
Anyway, so whenever he's like 15 years too late, like there's a meme of that too. Like 15 years too late, but I'm going to still watch it. Oh, man, I can't wait to see it. But I'm going to be using my kids as an excuse to go see the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely not going to be like keeping them from them. Be like, here, even whenever they're 14, like, Mom, I don't want to see this. Yes, you do. Shh.
I want to use them as an excuse to like play at playgrounds, go to Jump Street, like do all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna be with
that could be a podcast. Things we're
gonna do
using our kids
for
to relive our youth.
Right, exactly. But yeah, that's what subliminal messaging is. Eventually, on an upcoming episode, we will talk about more of the conspiracy theory side to some of these. There's lots of conspiracy theories about our old TV shows.
Illuminati. 9/11.
Purgatory references. There's purgatory ones. I don't know if you know about that one. We'll get to it.
Johnny Bravo. I totally forgot to mention Johnny Bravo had a coming soon sign with 2 towers falling.
Oh, yeah.
And it said coming soon.
Same
and 9/11 happened
with,
4 months later.
Yes, same thing in The Simpsons. But we'll get to all that in that episode because
those are more conspiracies, not so much subliminal trying to tell us to.
We're gonna eventually
to have sex.
Right. We're going to eventually have a whole episode about conspiracy theories about our old TV shows and a whole episode of just conspiracy theories in general. So we'll get all into all that stuff later. But on the next episode of the Millennial Monologues podcast, we're going to talk about ways to get out of bad dates.
Ew.
That'll be funny.
Lying to people. We'll teach you how.
Yeah, exactly. Making up reasons to leave. We got plenty of them.
Or just maybe our bad date stories in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we all know we have a lot of those.
I've got one, but that's
I have plenty.
Okay, perfect. So that's what's coming up next week. Be sure to tune in And we go live on Facebook every single Tuesday at 7, and we also go live on YouTube. And
www.themillennialmonologues.com.
Yes, that's
On
our
air
website.
media. Check us out.
Yes. Also, you can catch us on your own time, anytime on your favorite Castbox.
I was going to say Castbox.
I
always
SoundCloud.
say it wrong.
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
And Castbox.
Website.
Right.
All
Anyways,
right.
thanks for watching.
Okay, bye, guys. Thank you for
Thank
watching.
you.
Thank you.